Philadelphia 76ers have a totally new revamped roster going into the All-Star break. On Thursday, the fireworks went down where 76ers were sent on their way to their individual destinations so that we could retain 2 new players. Those 5 players are as followed: Pat Bev, Furkan Korkmaz, Markieff Morris, Jaden Springer, as well as Daniel House. In addition to that, the Sixers also gave up 4 second-round picks. Players that we obtained was Cameron Payne as well as Buddy Hield. Let's take a look at the breakdown of the trades themselves. Patrick Beverley to the Milwaukee Bucks for Cameron Payne, Furkan Korkmaz, and Markieff Morris, plus 4 second-round picks to the Indiana Pacers for Buddy Hield, Jaden Springer to the Boston Celtics for a second-round pick, and Daniel House to the Pistons for a second-round pick. In my opinion, the Pat Bev trade was an L. The Furkan Korkmaz joint was a W. Springer, his trade was an L, and House to the Pistons was a W. I just want to say that Furkan Korkmaz will be missed, man. Like, homie finally got his wish, and his sentence has been lifted. He has been here for about 7 years, and I've enjoyed my time with the Sultan. You know, not being as consistent on 3. Being hot for about 2 quarters and somehow still missing his free throws after he got an and one. Now, when it comes to Pat Bev, nah, but we'll talk about that. Talking about the people that we obtained, the Buddy Hield trade was good. Now, if you watch Buddy Hield for years now, you would know that he has been compared to Stephen Curry, and obviously, though he isn't that, homie still can shoot threes at a high clip and has above average ball handling skills. Put it like this, 76er fans. He is a mix of Steph Curry and J.J. Redick, meaning he'll fit right in with Embiid and Maxey. Dribble handoffs will be coming galore, especially in a fast-paced Nick Nurse offense. And for campaign, I'm definitely less high on him. He hasn't had an eye-popping season in years. Very streaky on 3, but I can say he is an above-average ball handler, meaning that he can run the backup, point guard role, and he has been on a lot of deep playoff teams, so he does bring experience in that instance, which is definitely a plus. Again, I said that, in this trade deadline, the Sixers really needed to address secondary ball guard handling, and I was right. Daryl Morey is definitely listening to the video. What's good to my guy? The only thing is Bulls gave up defense. So overall, I would give this trade, I want to say a D+, but I'm going to say C- trade, specifically because heart is the most thing that is needed right now on this squad, and we gave that away with Pat Bev. And I do get it. I do get it, especially with this actual recent losing skid. The team needed offense, so once again, I see the logic. But again, the Sixers need heart. We've always had talent, bro. Like, Joel Embiid is the talent, but mental is the final frontier that we needed to obtain or to gain, and now it's just gone. But also, I'm kind of confused why we would give Jaden Springer to a rival. I don't think that's even Pat Bev went to a rival as well. I just don't think that that's a smart overall. Later in the video, Daryl Morey does address this, but I don't think it's smart to ever deal with another team in your same conference that you're going to have to play, down the road. But that's just me. So next up, the squad picked up Kyle Lowry off of buyout waivers, and we knew that this was coming. I even called this in my last video. Now, out of those 2 rumors, Kyle Lowry is the only one that actually makes sense, I guess, simply off of the fact that he fits the same backup guard mold / need that this team needs. Is he better than Patrick Beverley? I don't know. And for real, at this point, I would say no. Maybe there's a reason why he was let go of the Heat. Maybe, I guess, the Sixers thought that the combination of him and a campaign as backup point guards would be comparable to a Pat Bev, have the same impact as a Pat Bev. But once again, you lose heart, and I firmly believe, like I said, that is the thing that the Sixers need most. But you do get a dog, and when I say dog, I'm putting that in quotation marks, who will definitely be a leader and has already won a chip with Nick Nurse, in fact. So there is some continuity there. And he is from Philadelphia, so this is a homecoming story. So whatever, Sixers will Sixer. Daryl Morey then proceeded to have a press conference in regards to the whole trade deadline. There were three major takeaways that I took from it. One, he was very vague. He was very vague about Joel Embiid's injury. He didn't really get into it that much, which kind of concerns me. Two, he kept on saying that the Sixers wanted a big man. What I take from it is he's saying that Paul Reed and Mo Bamba ain't cutting it, which they really aren't, which doesn't make sense, which actually is very interesting because a lot of Sixer fans were crying for Paul Reed to get extended. And the third point, Daryl Morey was saying that he is specifically focusing on the playoffs. He doesn't see the actual time frame of right now until Joel comes back as necessary. He specifically said that these moves were for the playoffs. So I'm gonna put in some clips on Morey talking his talk.
You're making it sound like you're trying to plan also for the future. Would the approach have been the same if Joel's there?
Yeah, always planning for the future. If the hope wasn't there on Joel, I think it would have changed things dramatically. We're very hopeful. I mean, obviously, for sure it's not 100%. It's something, unfortunately, probably a good chunk short of 100%. But we thought it was the right thing. Like, there are a lot of ways you cannot win the title. Winning the title is hard. A lot of ways you cannot win the title. And obviously, Joel not coming back at the level we hope will be one of the ways we can't win this year, most likely.
Yeah, the fact that you made trades with the Celtics, Bucks, and Pacers shows obviously that trading with a conference rival isn't a deal breaker, but do you have any maybe second thoughts or ways that you negotiate trades differently with teams that you could see in the playoffs?
I don't. So I know maybe others do. I do think that comes into play when you're talking about your top few guys. I do think it matters then, but when you get to like you're a little farther down the roster, I don't think that should be a factor. I think you'll miss opportunities that will hurt you more than how those things. Now we'll see. I mean, this is definitely a challenge trade. It'll be a fun one going forward. So
yeah, the Sixers are back at square one. Good team that has an outside chance of winning a championship while still having the assets to go out and potentially gain a star at a later date. You may not like them, and the squad might get your heart hurt and head hurt every single time, but they are the definition of consistent. You have to give them that. So will Joel Embiid come back healthy? Who the hell knows? But regardless, I wouldn't put stock into this team right now.